Hold on. Okay, so this video is for EDU 583, Essential Linguistics and Theory for Georgetown College with Dr. Brody, Dr. Christelle Brody as the professor. This is about a student, middle school student. You're the mainstream teacher, and Abej is her name. She's in middle school. She's in 8th grade right now. Now, do you have any concerns about her work so far, you know, that you've seen?
I'm really worried about specifically her writing level. I feel like it's very, very much below where it should be.
Okay.
As far as speaking, you know, it's hard to kind of have any conversation with her at all. I mean, there are just a lot of challenges I've had in terms of her language ability.
Okay.
Sometimes there's nothing.
I'll show you some of the items here. Now, she took the WIDA test,
Okay.
which a YAPT, and what that does is it gives them a series of visuals and small words, things like that, lets them pick out English, and it tries to see if they can understand what's being presented to them.
Okay.
On this test, she scored a 1.
Okay.
All the way across. Her scores averaged a 1.
Gotcha. Okay.
So she's only been in the U.S. for 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
What she's going to be able to do is follow one-step commands and instructions.
Okay.
So if you're in class and you're telling them, you know, get out your paper, get this,
sit down,
she's
that kind of stuff. Okay.
lost.
Oh, okay.
Because she's going to have one step and say, okay, get your paper. She needs to get her paper.
Oh, okay.
And then go sit down.
Okay.
Then take out your binder.
Right.
You know, each
But
step
never
has
all at
to,
once.
yeah.
Okay.
Because it just kind of overloads.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. In her speaking, now a lot of her stuff, she's going to be more hesitant because she's only been here for a very small amount of time.
Right.
At home, they speak Lingala,
Okay.
which is Swahili. It's a derivative of Swahili.
Okay.
It's spoken mainly in the central part of Africa.
Okay.
Not as common as Swahili is,
Mm.
but it has a lot of French in it.
Okay.
So there is a possibility in her speaking that, you know, if you could point out some cognates, you can go online.
Okay.
There's a website, FrenchAbout.com.
French about. Okay.
And they actually list all the true cognates. And that may be something helpful that, you know, you could give to her and be like, oh, toilets, toilette.
Okay,
You
so
know,
by cognate you mean
things
the
like that.
word.
A word that looks alike, sounds alike,
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
has the same meaning.
Okay.
Things like exam,
Okay.
in French, it's examen. And so she could
Okay.
begin to use more words
Yeah.
because of the cognates.
Now, so she doesn't speak French though, but I guess her language
She
is
does,
so.
well, she does speak French because she was schooled.
Okay.
When I talked to her and interviewed her, she actually went to school in Congo, and they only school in French.
Okay.
So that's going to be one of the things when she's speaking, you'll notice that she drops the sounds
Okay.
at the end, because that's what they do in French.
Okay.
Is the S's and T's and P's
Yeah.
and D's, they drop those off.
Okay.
So when she talks to you, she might say, I don't understand.
Gotcha.
And
yeah.
it's because she's been schooled in that.
Right.
Because she did go to school up until she moved here last May.
Okay.
So grades 1 through 5, she was schooled in French.
Okay.
But at home, it's only Lingala.
Okay.
And Lingala is not a written language.
Okay.
It's very rare that you'll find people that are literate
Okay.
in the country because it's a spoken language.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
But now,
So in terms of how I can kind of use that, I guess if I go to you said the French About website, I can look up cognates.
Yep.
She'll understand those.
yeah,
Okay.
because she'll be able to relate to those. And
Okay.
that'll give her a little bit more of a word base.
Gotcha. Okay.
That would help her in speaking. Now you could also do like common phrases, and there's some websites that you can get that have like very common phrases, maybe that you use,
Okay.
or you know, even ask me for help with translating, like, can I
Okay.
go to the bathroom?
Right.
So that, she can see what it is in French,
Yeah.
and then she can say it in English to
Okay.
you. And so she gets used to using more conversational
Gotcha.
words.
Okay.
Because she's going to pick up some,
Yeah.
but, this just kind of helps her go along.
Right. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned in her writing. Now, her writing, at this point, she's still level 1, so she's entering English.
Mm-hmm.
And this is drawing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is tell her a banana, and she can draw it. She
Yeah.
can spell it,
Right.
but, she can draw it. She can label pictures and graphs and
Okay.
things like that. This is mainly recognition. This is list of words,
Gotcha,
that memorization where she knows a few things and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
When you give her something to do, like a writing, you have to be sure and give it to her in steps,
Right.
and slow it down so that she can process it.
Okay.
It might even help if you paired her with another peer,
Okay.
so that she could, not copy off them, but bounce ideas off them. Maybe one that has also come up learning English, maybe one that's already exited the program. That would be helpful because they understand the difficulties there. With reading, now, do you do a lot of reading in your class, or?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, it's, yeah.
Well, that's one thing. It may be difficult for her at first to kind of zone in
Mm-hmm.
on what she needs to know.
Okay.
So one of the things I suggest, especially in the thicker, like, social studies books
Mm-hmm.
and things like that, you've got so much information in there.
Yeah.
Break it down to the, like, top 5 or even 10 questions
Okay.
when you're doing, like, those chapter text and things like that. Break it down to those 5 or 10 and put the page number where she can find that answer.
Okay.
And that kind of helps her not be so overwhelmed in there. So that would be good.
Now, also, what about in terms of homework? Because I do give homework in my class, so I'm not exactly sure.
Is it more along the reading, or is it?
There is some reading. Occasionally, there is like maybe short response, like short answer type things. So, what kind of homework do you think would be appropriate for her at her level?
At this level, things with visuals work the best.
Okay.
But if that's, if you can't modify that completely, do something more like what we do with the reading, and, drop it down to a select few.
Okay. Yeah.
And then let her still be a participant of it.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's not, you're not going to get the highest level work because she's not able to.
Right. Okay.
So, she's still what they term as what the textbook actually, this is really cool, essential linguistics. And they've termed this as a delayed in their speech.
Okay.
Because they're processing.
Yeah.
And they'll do this for several months, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoop.
Yeah.
And it's like they get it.
Yeah.
But it takes time for them to process that and to become familiar with everything. So it's very frustrating sometimes, but for them too.
Right.
So you can't see as much growth because this is a huge step here. From entering into beginning.
Too. Okay.
So even at the end of this year, she might be here, but maybe not in all 4 domains.
Right. Yeah.
So she's going to have a little bit more.
Yeah.
She needs a little bit more time to process things.
Yeah.
Now I know you're not doing math and things like that, but she's doing well in those because that skill transfers.
Of course, yeah, numbers, yeah.
Numbers, but you still got some of that wording.
Right.
Also with the textbook work that you guys have, I would suggest doing pre-teaching. Do you offer like a vocabulary list or anything like that?
I do, typically, yeah.
Because that's something that really helps her, and it's a front-loading device.
Okay.
Because you're giving her that information ahead of time and allowing her time to look at it. One of the things I do suggest is allowing her to use some of her notes on the test that you guys have.
Okay.
Just because it will help ease the stress for her and give her a little bit of cushion
Right.
for that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I was wondering about the whole speaking aspect, because we do discussion type things. With the the guidelines you're using there, what would be kind of a realistic goal to expect for her? Because I want her to be able to participate.
Right.
What can I kind of expect as far as what would be reasonable, like a reasonable type of question?
Okay. At this point, when you're talking to her or even putting her in small groups, now that's a really good way to get her comfortable and to get her to, want to express herself a little more. And she's she loves the class.
Oh, yeah.
She talks about how much she loves history and she likes learning about all the old things. And, she's so sweet.
Yeah.
But at this point, she's really not going to understand more than yes or no questions or choice.
Gotcha.
So if things can be, a little more, if she could have an area where it's a multiple choice.
Yeah, like a visual thing along with it.
Exactly.
Can you put these words in this visual category?
Exactly. Okay. You could even do something in sequence, like a reading, and you have it in sequence in pictures. That is perfect.
We match this.
Yes.
With this picture. Okay.
And pushing it a little bit, you can go a little bit above her level and just, you can keep pushing her. It's the 1 + 1. And if you go a little bit above, then she'll work harder to get to that above. Yeah. And she'll continue to try to go up.
Growth. Okay.
That's a strategy that's highly recommended, is just that constant pushing. A little bit. And I know I do it in foreign language, where I give the kids 75% of known words, but I also give them 25% unknown. So I'm trying to build them up and build their confidence and stuff. Okay. So with speaking, she's gonna, at this point, she's gonna repeat words.
Okay. Yeah.
She's gonna give short answers, very basic words.
Okay. Yeah.
They're learned words, things that she's heard a lot.
Okay.
So it's not gonna progress huge at this point, because she is in 8th grade. Right. So this year she's going to end still on entering. She's learned a lot, but she's not doing this yet. She's not being able to create her own sentences. She's not capable yet of giving that vocabulary. Right. Yeah. So that's something that she's still working on. Okay. A lot of stuff is just going to be with her personal experience. Yeah. Because again, she doesn't have the vocabulary. Right. Yeah. So that's about it.
Okay. Wonderful.
Cool. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Oh,